I know what you're thinking. Reed, if we're talking about piano playing in touch, why are you sitting there banging on that damn drum? Now, it's plain that I'm not the best drummer in the world, but the idea is not to become the best drummer in the world. The idea is to unlock something in our piano playing. That something is about touch, and with touch, about unlocking rhythmic sensibility and tone. In this video, we're going to talk about what we're really doing on the piano. In a sense, it's auspicious that we're waiting for the action of our Steinway to come back, which is out for rebuilding. I've got a chance to give you a perspective on all of this, which is really something I didn't get during my studies. So I have to let you in on a little secret about the piano. Now, I'm going to hazard a guess about the development of music in human culture. And no, I wasn't there at the time. That's not funny. In the beginning, there were two types of basic sounds that humans made to express themselves. And they come from, number one, hitting things, number two, singing or vocalizing. These are basically the two methods that predate even me that cause sound waves to vibrate, physically striking or dragging an object to cause a vibration, or by making a vibration with wind. The piano utilizes one method to fake the other. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Reed, and I have played the piano for 50 years. Last 35 or so, I've more or less known what I'm doing. Now, in the more modern-day world, every method of sound production is still, to an extent, derived from one of those two I just mentioned, albeit with some modifications. For example, if you play the clarinet, that sound is akin to singing. It's done by the breath, and the instrument itself is a proxy for the trachea and the larynx, which contains the vocal cords. An acoustic guitar is percussion because it's fingers or a pick hitting the strings causing a vibration, right? Or call up the patches on your favorite synth, and you'll notice that the sounds are, with few exceptions, emulating the basic two that I mentioned a second ago. Some sound like brass, some sound like woodwinds, some sound like strings, some like a drum, but all either wind or hitting of some sort. This is deeply embedded in the hearts and psyches of all humans. Now, let's call those two types of sound production I just mentioned percussive and non-percussive, for lack of better terms. In fact, instead of non-percussive, let's use the word lyrical. If you're playing piano at a high level, you've learned how to simulate lyrical expression with the percussive playing that you do. The piano is somewhat unique in that it's a percussion instrument masquerading as a lyrical instrument. The sound on piano always starts from a percussive attack. Not necessarily muscular, banging, or loud, but percussive in that every sound is initiated by a strike. Can't conceive of a singing tone coming from a percussion player, though? Imagine the softest sound that can be played from a bell. Gorgeous. But check this out. That kind of sucked, right? That's what happens on the piano if your touch isn't on point. On a related note, did you ever think about the fact that a piano doesn't crescendo? What I mean is, it doesn't get louder within a single strike, and its volume and timbre is only determined by the force of the strike, not anything that happens after. A clarinet player, a singer, a flute player can crescendo and change timbre on a single pitch. The way a pianist crescendos is by playing a series of notes in a musical passage. Now, every instrument has its limitations, but we also have some amazing advantages that most other instruments don't. We can play many more than a single note at a time. When I first went to college for music in the 70s, I had a teacher who blew me away. He was a pianist who identified as a composer, music director, and conductor. By the way, feel free to check out my blog about the late, great Jack Jarrett, linked below once you're done here. When I entered the school back then, I was a rock guitarist, itching to learn. I had long hair, I played with a distorted tone, and above all else, I wanted to play burning, soaring solos with bended notes and blistering feedback, as much sustain and volume as I can get. How boomer is that anyway? Well, I barely got into the school. Story for another time. And they told me I had to play classical guitar. So I bought one on a trip to Mexico when I was 18, summer of 1975, brought it back to the States with me. I just couldn't get excited about it, though, because everything was so soft in volume. Meantime, at the piano, holy crap, it was the first instrument where I could play all of a song or piece by myself, and I could lay into it and make it loud. So I started studying piano really hard, beginning maybe in my sophomore or junior year. Before that, I really had no keyboard skills to speak of. This brings me to two main points. Point one, I can actually remember learning this stuff. So that makes me a little more suitable to teach it to you than if I'd been some sort of prodigy. Point two, expressiveness on a piano is a magic trick. And this utilizes what magicians or illusionists call sleight of hand. Okay, so I will admit that I resisted this drum thing and even the idea of studying touch in general at first. You might be tempted to do the same thing, but don't make that same mistake. I had picked up a ton of bad habits by then. In the end, though, I made the touch element of my playing into my best trick. I'm not the most technically skilled or even inventive player, but I do a great pianissimo. And I really think music comes from the heart anyway, so expressing what's in it is really important. Okay, so the rhythm you're hearing is notated on the screen right now. Take a screenshot and print it out for yourself if you like. Next time we meet on this topic, though, I'll have a PDF for you that you can download. That will be the rhythm you're seeing now, but plus some variations and other things. If you aren't a reader, that's okay. It's basically 3 notes to the beat, 4 beats per bar, and they are all even. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. The accents, which are on each beat, alternate between left and right hands. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. The 2 articulations are a fingertip hit, like this, and a palm hit, like that, as you see in the notation. The interaction between the fingertip hits and the palm hits will suggest a secondary underpinning rhythm, which we'll dive into next time. But the short explanation is that it will unlock a sense of rhythmic correlation you might not be used to, but that will make you experience some deeper rhythmic grounding. In addition, we'll talk about piano hand position next time. Don't worry too much about practicing this drum rhythm until next time, unless you're sure you understand it enough to perform it. If you're doing this seriously, this drum rhythm will be with you for long into the future, so don't sweat it. As I said just now, I'll have a PDF for you in the next session which will lay all this out, including some of the rhythmic behaviors you'll want to unlock. And I'll carefully explain it to you. So if you're the nervous type, but you got this far, don't worry, I got you. The beginning of each of these touch videos will begin with a bit of wisdom and perspective. When I studied this, I got, do this, do that. So I never really heard what I said just now explained in detail before, and I had to figure out what I learned after I had learned it. My advice is don't skip that part. Keep in mind, I'm not creating these touch videos for a wide audience. I'm creating these for you. So retention on YouTube is a secondary concern. I want you to really understand what we're doing and why. See you next time.